Good morning, my name is Nicolas Silva. I am a philosophy student at the University of Chile, and I hope you're able to see the summary because I'm just going to start right off. First, a few words on what scientific pluralism is. It is a set of positions and discussions in the context of philosophy of science that invite the discipline to break away from a traditional view of science and scientific knowledge as this body of unified and systematized body of facts that tries to see science in its appropriate context, where we understand that there is a plurality of things that we call science, that there is a plurality of approaches and goals and interests that get embedded and embodied in the context of scientific practice, such that this traditional image is not of use anymore. This different picture has also given us an opportunity to consider issues of social and political nature, since the traditional model is incorrect, so to speak. We try to understand how the different claims to knowledge of the different sciences get negotiated and interpreted in the different practices, in other human practices apart from science, such that political and social concerns do have a role to play. Despite this social and political concern, there has been marginal attention to the issue of education in the context of the scientific pluralist literature. And I think that the thought of Paulo Freire is a good point of entrance for pluralists to start thinking through these complex issues. And this is so because I see a lot of parallels between the thought of Freire and a lot of things are being said in contemporary discussions. To exemplify this, I'll start with the concept of the banking model of education. I hope you're all familiar with that. This model of teaching and learning, where there is an established body of facts that the teacher has and some people have, and that just get transplanted into the head of the student, so to speak, without critical engagement, just like one puts money in a bank. Paulo Freire uses this concept to criticize this traditional model of education. And an important philosopher in the scientific pluralist tradition, Helen Longino, has a similar concept and that she calls the realist positivist model of science, where the positivists and realists see scientific knowledge as this body of facts, as this body of established knowledge, such that the scientists simply know what the truth about the matter is, and the work of the science is simply to translate, or not even translate, but take these facts and put them in the heads of people in society, where people don't critically engage with them, but just accept them as truth. These two critical concepts have their positive parallel in what Paulo Freire calls the teacher-student contradiction, although I prefer the Spanish translation, la contradicción educando-educante, where he sees this hierarchical model of education as something that is always thought about with the purpose of getting transcended. We don't want to be hierarchical in our learning activities. We want to achieve a point where learning is always a democratic participation between two or more persons, such that we all learn about the world and about our own existential milieu in a collaborative way, where no one takes a hierarchical position or a position of epistemic authority in reference of the other person. This gets paralleled in a concept of Helen Longino called tempered equality of intellectual authority, where she says that despite traditional models of science, for example Karl Popper's, where science gets advanced by great men such as an Einstein or a Newton, in reality science gets advanced day by day as a collective enterprise, where critical engagement and democratic participation in this enterprise is one of its most crucial assets. Here we see another parallel in which the model of education and science is a democratic model, a model where there is a horizontal relation between the practitioners. Finally, I want to note that Paulo Freire's thought is not just a theoretical exercise or a philosophical reflection, but what is called in contemporary philosophy of science a turn to practice, where he goes to the learning practices, to the education practices, and tries from that situated viewpoint, to issuing concepts that can help make sense of that there is in practice. And that is something that I think is crucial to the ethos and the purpose of scientific pluralism. Thank you all for listening, and I hope this is a nice start for further engagement.